Shalom. Now go ahead and explain question number 2 before I actually get into question number 2. And question number 2 deals with the inarguable argument of the color and the race of the ancient Egyptian, or better said, the ancient Khemtu. Now, why do I say that it's an inarguable argument? Well, look at it. The country, geographically, Afu-Ra-Ka. The language of the people, phonetically and grammatically, Afu-Ra-Ka. The religion, or I should say, the spiritual guidance of the people, Afu-Ra-Ka. We won't even get into the Machuatu, which was Afu-Ra-Ka. Now, for some apparent reason, the Nile Valley civilizations, every single one of them, except the Khemtu, were Afu-Ra-Ka. So why is this civilization not Afu-Ra-Ka, even though they call themselves the black people, Khemtu? Now, I say that because many people question to this day ignorantly, why is it so important? Who cares what color they were, this and that, such and such? And apologists will easily refer to this question out of ignorance and also out of guilt and denial. Well, the reason why it's so important is because you must understand, or as I say, you must overstand, the very real phenomena of psychological ma'afa that exists within the black person today. The modern day Afu-Ra-Ka. Now, I don't even just speak in the United Snakes of America. This is something that is a worldwide deficit mentally within our people. And this all stemmed from the ma'afa, which you would like to call the transatlantic slave trade. Because during that time, people were cut from their languages, their history, their education, their systems of culture and spiritual beliefs. They were cut from their lands and relocated. They had to be relocated to a new land that we now call the United Snakes. Now, this is important because my people today wonder why we get nowhere in life. And you get nowhere in life because what is the old saying? You can't know where you're going until you've known where you've been. We have no idea where we have been. The greatest civilizations, be it Khemtu or Khyenesu, whatever civilization you want to name, that was the greatest civilization in the history of Earth Mother. Still, we study them today. All races and creeds around the world study them today. This was your people, my people, I should say. However, during the Ma'afa, these things were cut from you, and the entire erasal of your memory had begun. And we are the result of that destruction of our psychological makeup. And we are affected by it today. That is why this is so important. Because we did not start our history between 15 and 1600 during the transatlantic slave trade. Our history does not start with Martin Luther King. I know most of you believe that. I'm sorry it did not. It did not start with slavery. I'm sorry it did not. It did not start with Harriet Tubman, Booker T. Washington. Great people achieved great things, but nothing in comparison with the overall history of our people. When our people started here, there was no other race, creed, color, culture, period, even existing on the entire Earth Mother. All come from one, and that one was us. And if you do not understand this fact, and you do not understand this reality, you will never understand who you are. Now, I will get into question number 2. And this question is, if the Khemtu were white or any other race or color, then why has that civilization been the most studied by European whites? Let me ask you that again. If the Khemtu were white or any other race of color, then why has it been the most studied civilization by European whites? See, There has even been a campaign of Egyptology created by Champollion, and this has never been a problem since then. Until then. It has never been a question or a problem or an issue or even an argument until then. Now, if it were European history, shouldn't there be countless documents of this recording and its connection? They have a plethora of information about Shakespeare and Henry VIII and Rome and Greece and Leif Erikson, etc. But there is not even remotely as simple as an oral tradition linking Europe to the Khemtu. Now you have to logically think with me here. You have to realize that our quote-unquote modern historians have a protocol that they must follow in order to whiten the Egyptian. However, people at that time, Herodotus for instance, called them Malinokros. And this right here is the same name, Malinokros, that he used for the Sudanese, or as you call today, the real black African. Now, if he used that same word to describe the Khemtu that he used to describe the Nubian and all of the rest of the black Afu-Ra-Ka, then why in the world would you want to refute that argument? And it was not just him. You have Diodorus, you have people from all over that came. Because you know what? They fascinated the world then, just as much as they fascinate the world now. I'm sorry, the interest in our people did not start recently. 1800s with Champollion the Younger did not do that. The interest in our people and the admiration of our people has been eternal. Now, shouldn't these older people, these ancients, know better by actual contact and sight of these people, of our people, than any type of modern so-called historian could prove or try to disprove? Think about that. Now, I want to clarify something here because this has been an often used rebuttal for some apparent reason. Again, an inarguable argument. So I need to clarify that Khem or Khemtu means black and black people. Khemtu, the black nation. And I say that specifically because there has been so much perversion, so many perverted arguments saying that Khem and Kemet actually stand for the black land because of the runover of the Nile Valley, leaving the silt and the color of the soil was black. Sorry. If that's the case, I need you to present me another word for land. As far as the references to their land, they call it Tamari, because Ta is land in the ancient Matuatu. So there is no argument of what the name Khem and Khemtu and Kemet means. There is no argument. However, I present this question. I know for a fact those on the frequency realize already that this is actually, as I should say, an elementary question. But there are so many of my brothers and sisters that don't know their history, and they think their history should only be studied in February. And they think that their history was apexed by Martin Luther King Jr. So I'll leave that question open for discussion, and I look forward to each and all comments. Ha chapu.